What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Episode 15, baby. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about vaccination priorities, Neil deGrasse Tyson's breathy ass voice, eyes being the windows to the soul, stepping stones in personal development, pulling a Peter Pan, and passionate implications of wrongdoing. I hope you enjoy this. We had a good time on this one. Hope everyone's doing well. We'll talk soon. Enjoy. So I'm back at school. One man in the 8-man house right now, which is a lot better than the first time I did it.
What, in the fall?
Yeah. I was just like, I don't know. I just didn't fuck with being alone in the house. It was like kind of eerie. But now that I've actually lived there for a semester, it's like not a big deal.
Right.
So I'm just kind of chilling, dude. I got my guy fucking Ali behind me.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm just hanging out. But it's weird to be back at school. Like,
I believe you.
Yeah, like I'm sitting there with some hot table, bro.
Oh.
And
yeah,
I
miss hot table so much.
Yeah, and I was sitting at the dinner table with some hot table, just like, fuck, this is it. Like, here I am. Like, I'm back. It doesn't even feel like I'm back. Crazy.
Bro, it's gonna feel like that once everybody starts trickling back, though.
I know. Luckily, we're one of the people that get to come in because
that email. I was today. I was like, are you serious? I think that's kind of unfair. Like, if anything, I would say like allow like underclass first, because like if anything, they're a bigger COVID risk.
Yeah, I know, dude. It was shitty. I hope that like the transition comes in smooth and everyone gets to come back on campus.
Yeah.
The Rona is not doing too hot right now.
What do you mean, like just in Springfield or?
Yeah, in Massachusetts in general, it's just a hot zone. Like my mom was just saying, like Charlie Baker just pushed the teachers' vaccinations back to. Let me see what she said. It was supposed to be February and March, and he pushed it back from April to May. But he's
for first vaccination.
For first vaccination for teachers.
Damn.
And he's still like pushing. He wants like all the kids to be in school and like no online as like best as you can or whatever.
Right.
But it's just like dangerous, man. Like especially teachers aren't young. A lot of them, you know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how you can like accomplish that. Like so both my parents are teachers and they are pinned to get their first vaccinations this coming weekend. I think it's
wow.
Yeah, dude, Andrew Cuomo, he has been batting. I mean,
really,
obviously has a lot of money, so it's like he can say, "Give us these COVID vaccines." But the same way, like we had a ton of tests that places like Missouri and Wisconsin were like, we don't have enough tests for our healthcare workers.
Right.
He's trying to get everybody in as quick as possible. But if you weren't already signed up, which is contingent on your school district, and the wealthier school districts kind of had access to that before like some of the more like high need school districts, which I don't know how I feel about that, because normally those like higher need school districts are like way denser in population. So like it's probably more of a risk. Whatever.
And probably less healthy by like population as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
But it's bottom line, it's being pushed back to I think March or April. It's not back to May yet, but they're lucky. Like my mom teaches at Boston Spa, which is the town that we live closest to. And my dad teaches at this like experimental I don't know what the name of it is, but it like draws students from all over the capital region.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like they get bussed in. So it's like some people live like an hour away, some people live 15 minutes away.
It's a regional thing.
Yes, yeah, a regional school. But it's like it's something done through BOCES, like the education department in New York.
Right.
So either way, both of them, they have like they're pretty like well-funded schools. So they're going to be getting their test now. Then they were telling me that the way that we are distributing our vaccines or I'm sorry, I said tests. I should have said vaccines.
Yeah.
Distributing them by, if you get your first shot, no questions asked, 3 weeks later, you get your second shot.
Yeah.
Which is fucking up the supply for everybody else. And I don't know. That's kind of weird because it's like first come, first serve, but first come, take all.
Well, here's the
I mean?
thing, right? This might help explain it a little more because Carolyn just got her shot today.
Mhm.
First fucking shot. She's already got it.
Okay.
Which is so cool. And
Sick.
she said that they just sat her down in a chair with like 10 other people in the room,
Mhm.
line them up, bang, 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 like shots down the line, and then see you later. Like it was cool. So
making it sound like a firing squad execution.
I know, right?
Jesus.
You get a vaccine. You get a vaccine right down the line.
Yeah.
But what she was saying was that you're supposed to give guaranteed second dose.
Oh. Okay.
Because a lot of places are giving all of their doses out to everyone. But the way that they have the doses made, like Pfizer and Moderna, it just doesn't work like that. So like practices are giving all of their doses to everyone they can, which the first dose brings you up to about 50%.
Yeah, I've heard
effective,
of that.
Right? And the second dose brings you to 95. So apparently there's a problem with the supply chain, and you can't do that because they don't have enough doses to fully vaccinate everybody. And 50% doesn't really mean shit.
Right. Okay. All right. So follow-up question. What happens if you get out of that 2 week or 3 week period before you've gotten that second vaccination? Is it just
it might be, I don't know. Carolyn said there's an 8-day grace period, 4 days prior and 4 days post the date that you're supposed to get your second vaccine. Okay. I don't know what happens after that. Yeah.
You explode. Your immune
system. Or
system.
It's just like, or they wasted a perfectly good vaccine on you, and like,
right.
You're null and void, which would be such a bummer.
Yeah.
I know we're having getting it. We're having problems getting it out fast. So last number I saw, which was like 5 days ago, was that we were doing 400,000 a day. It sounds like a lot, but there's 350 million people in this country.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot. And we're slow right now, but it's expected to ramp up. But Pfizer, I think it was Pfizer, it might have been Moderna, actually stopped giving vaccines to those certain places that were just vaccinating everybody instead of saving that second dose. They're like, we can't do this. Like, you can't, you're not going to get any more now because you're fucking everyone up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. But hopefully there's not some money reason behind that. Hopefully it's just like a pure policy thing, but you know.
Yeah. Dude, I don't feel like that's like a corruption thing, because I've definitely heard the 50%, and like, of course, like there's already, people are told 80% chance you won't get it if you're wearing a mask or you won't spread it, and they're like, well, I won't even bother with that because the 20% exists. So if they're just doing like a one vaccination.
Yeah, dude. Plus, is the mask really 80% effective, bro?
Well, the N95 masks are supposed to be 95% effective. However, dude, I was talking to one of my friends a couple days ago. She works at a nursing home, and she was saying that they did a mask fitting, and the technician that was fitting them for these N95s, which have the straps that go like horizontally around the back rather than around the ears.
Yep.
They sprayed this like sweet tasting or sweet smelling liquid out of like a mister. And if you could smell or taste anything, it meant that the mask didn't work. Mm-hmm. So she had it on, she had it tight, and they fitted it to her face, and they sprayed her, and they go, all right, honey, can you taste, smell anything? And she was like, well, just a little bit. It's just a little bit sweet, but that's probably fine, right? And the woman was like, well, would just a little bit of COVID be fine? And she was like, oh. So
I think technically the answer is yes, though.
Well, A little bit. Here's the thing though. Like if you're getting that little bit all the time, isn't that the whole viral load thing? It's just going to keep.
Right. Well, true. But it's better to get a little bit all the time than a lot all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I know you're not doing anti-mask. I'm just saying for the people that are. I think there is a legitimate argument to be made about the mask, but like it's got to be better than nothing. It just there's no logical way that it couldn't be better than nothing.
Yeah. My point in bringing this up was that I already think that if people, I mean, we have enough people who are saying they don't want to take the vaccine because they're worried that, you know, Big Brother is somehow not satisfied with our phones being on all the time. And they need to put like a microchip in us.
Yeah.
Buy into that or don't buy into that, whatever. But
I mean, that's a little bit much.
You got to be a little out to lunch, just a little.
Oh, dude, there are legitimate health concerns in regards to a new vaccine. They've never done an mRNA vaccine before, so they don't know the long-term effect of that. But honestly, like,
was it that they've never done an mRNA vaccine before, or is it that this is the first? I thought it was that this is the first one that's been unveiled on a massive scale.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard a couple of doctors say that they've never done an mRNA, but that might be wrong. Let me look it up really quick.
Okay. All right. Because I remember just seeing like a headline that I didn't read. So
vaccine before. Yeah, let me see.
Yeah. So my whole point of bringing like all that up is like, I'm very worried if we just run out, or if people just hear 50%, they'll go, well, yeah, I'm not taking it. Or they'll just go, hey, good enough, huh? You know, I think I've talked to you about somebody that we both know who we're not going to name, who has gotten their first COVID vaccination and has since flashed his vaccine card, his or hers vaccine card, and said, I get to walk into your establishment without a mask on. Not a cool guy thing to do.
No. And it's also, that's not real. Like 50% effective is like, it's a toss of the coin.
Yeah. Like,
and you should be, even if you're double vaccinated with both your fucking shots, you should be wearing a mask still. I mean,
yeah. It's the easiest thing to do.
That's right.
It's the easiest thing.
Here's what Google says, Nate. Google says, never done before. That's not completely true. While an mRNA vaccine has never been on the market anywhere in the world, mRNA vaccines have been tested in humans before, at least 4 infectious diseases: rabies, influenza, Zika, and cytomegalovirus. So they've been working on it, but I guess it hasn't been like out. So it's still new. I don't know. That's just a concern that I've heard floating around. But I mean, dude, there's going to be people that have a bad reaction. There's going to be people that some bad shit happens. And like, honestly, you just hope it's not you. Like, I feel like that's a leap of faith you got to take. Like, and recognize too, like that does happen. And that doesn't make you like an anti-vaxxer to be like aware of like some of the negative effects of the vaccine. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like, especially our old people, like, they need to get vaccinated. Like, let me ask you this, dude. Do you think that the old people should get vaccinated first, or the young people?
I really think, that they're doing it the way that we should be doing it.
Which is?
The people who
different are state by state.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, all right. In New York, we're doing it essential workers, but then highly exposed people or highly at-risk people. So I think they're doing like frontline workers. So like, obviously everybody saw the first person get a shot in New York was that nurse down in the city. And since then they've been doing all like medical personnel, like people who are just working in like rehab centers.
Yeah.
And I mean, now they're doing teachers. I'm sure they're going to be doing other essential workers. You can bet your ass they're not going to be giving it to people who are like low skill essential workers because they don't care. But I think they're moving on to older people or just people who are like classified as at risk next. I'd be shocked if nursing homes weren't getting it soon. But the rationale behind giving it to essential workers first, I think, is definitely sound, because it's like, okay, we don't want you going out, doing your business, grocery shopping because you and your family need to eat, accidentally getting it because you just took a little too long in the bread aisle, or some asshole before you just lowered their mask to cough all over the bread.
Yeah.
We don't want you getting it and then bringing it in somewhere where people are like highly, highly susceptible.
Right.
So I think they're doing that the smart way. Old people for sure at risk, but and again, this sucks. This is such like a feudalistic thing to say, but like, just quarantine for now. Like, just separate yourself.
Well, older people tend to do that anyways. So
Yeah, some.
Yeah, I guess not all.
Bro, I'll tell you what, my grandma and grandpa party more than I do. Like,
fucking awesome.
It's nuts. It kind of like, it bums me out a little bit. It's like, you guys went to 3 wine tastings this week? They're like, yeah. Like, what'd you guys do? Oh, we played some music, we ate some cheese, and the 6 of us went through 8 bottles of wine. It's like, what? What are you guys doing?
It's fucking awesome.
Just rocked doing the jitterbug, like.
So dude, here's what I think. In Massachusetts, they are having the elderly, or I guess senior citizens, get their shots first. So my grandpa's already got his first shot, and my Grammy is in a nursing home, and yeah, he's kind of like, I wish they would just give you guys the shots. Like,
yeah,
he's like, I don't care about getting the shot, and I kind of feel the same way, because I feel like we're the ones out. Like, most older people are retired.
Yeah. So
they're, they might be out to get bread or whatever, or doing like a wine tasting, but they might not be out working every day. Like, you want to talk like viral load, like me working this summer in the Landfall, which is the restaurant I work at. Like, there wasn't much COVID this summer where I was, luckily. But like, dude, if I was a server right now in COVID, oh my God, my viral load would be fucking off the charts, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I don't know if this seems like selfish. I don't know. Like, I think both options, I think it's a really hard choice. And like, there probably isn't a totally right answer, but like, I'm kind of leaning towards the younger people getting it first, because we're out working. Like, even though we're not that susceptible to getting sick, we can still spread it. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. It's a hard choice to make.
Bro, a lot of legislators agree with you. Like, the people who are making like the idea of the distribution plan, they're all following that. Like, well, again, the states I know of, I didn't know Mass was giving to old people first. I question the governor's judgment on that. Like, actually, I don't know if that's his decision to make totally.
It is. So it's left up to the states, because I saw some asshole from Florida on the news being like, well, you can't make us give the vaccine to the young people. Like, we're going to protect our senior citizens. And the person on the news, it was like the news anchor was talking to a scientist.
Okay.
The news anchor quoted the asshole from Florida, probably the governor.
Cool.
And then the scientist was like, just big eye roll. Like, well, it's up to the state to decide, so he can choose whether or not he wants to do that.
Did he Neil deGrasse Tyson him? Like,
low key, bro.
Well, actually, here's the deal here. Like,
dude, I actually would be okay if I never heard Neil deGrasse Tyson talk again. Hot take. I don't think he's fun to listen to at all. I think he's a fucking asshole.
Would you prefer to listen to him if he was white? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, dude.
No, I get what you're saying.
He's such a fucking like disagreeable, unpersonable person. Like, I get that like his voice is kind of cool to listen to, but he just overdoes it.
Okay, all right. I do have to ask a question. Have you seen like Cosmos, or like have you seen like shows that he's on rather than interviews?
Mm-mm.
I feel like I've watched like Cosmos, like in my 12th grade physics class. It was like our teacher didn't want to teach sometimes, so he would go watch Cosmos. Neil deGrasse Tyson taught half my physics class. Like I thought that he was like objectively really good in the show.
Okay.
However, right? Like obviously the whole like interview format doesn't really lend itself the same way. He's all over Twitter, well actuallying people. But like, did you watch
Yeah.
when he was on Joe Rogan?
I did, and I was sick of him about halfway through.
Really? I didn't hate him when he was on Rogan, but I've seen interviews since, and I've also just seen tweets that he's had where I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, do you not like just I love that you're getting out there, but also stay in your lane. Like you're a scientist, like you are just above where the rest of us are at. So,
Not
don't
only that, I mean, not only that, but I think there's a lot of people that don't even think what he studies is even that important.
what's like his actual degree in?
I think it's astrophysics, right?
I feel like that's important.
It,
I feel like it's very important.
I feel like it's, well, let me look it up. Dude,
Okay.
I will say I could totally see how in a show he would be great narrator.
Yeah.
100%. And I don't want to take that away from him. His voice is very like breathy and involved. But I just feel like the person to person, face to face thing, it's like, bro, I don't know. I have a hard time listening to him.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I hear you. I know what you're talking about. I just don't like, I don't know. I don't feel like it bothers me as much. Like,
Yeah, no, I get you, dude. Some people just
it's
dude,
the Twitter stuff that I'm like, hey.
see, I'm not even on Twitter. Physics, a Harvard degree in physics and astronomy from Texas.
So
Astrophysics from Columbia. Yeah, so I was right. Astrophysics.
wow. So Columbia and Harvard.
Is that what I said? Right?
Yeah, you said astrophysics.
Texas, Columbia, or Harvard, Texas, Columbia. Those are the three.
That's like a pretty impressive resume. Here's dude, okay. Let me connect this. I was watching The Social Network the other day. I don't know if you ever watched that movie.
The doc.
Yeah. No. Not The Social Dilemma. The Social Network. It's like it's an Aaron Sorkin movie. Like he wrote it. It's about Mark Zuckerberg creating Facebook.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there, it's like the whole feud with like the Winklevosses and stuff. So he was like at Harvard and everything, and obviously there's hyperbole within the movie, but like me and Callie were watching it and we were like, oh my god, like everybody here, like we get like it's a fictionalized version of Harvard, but also like there's a grain of truth in that.
Oh yeah.
And like Zuckerberg, ridiculously smart, zero people skills. He talks like a robot boy. And right. I mean, I think it's literally just because, if your brain's working like up there, you're going to have a hard time like interacting with people who like won't immediately meet you on that level.
Right.
So, I'm wondering somebody like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who has degrees from Columbia, Harvard, was it Texas A&M?
Let me see. Yeah, I think so. I'll pull it up again.
Either way.
No, University of Texas at Austin.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, 3 prestigious like universities.
Yeah.
Not easy degrees to get. Like he's probably just like unavoidably full of himself.
Right.
Like it's hard not to. And I forget where I was hearing this, but it was definitely a Joe Rogan podcast where they were talking about, or actually, no, it wasn't. Dr. Drew, he has like a podcast through like Tom Segura's like, I don't know, collection of pods. And he was talking about narcissism. And he was like, if you want to be a fighter pilot, you need a high degree of narcissism, because you need to have the confidence to say, I'm the best. I'm going to land this fucking jet and I'm going to take that guy out of the sky.
Interesting.
Right. And if you're like a social worker or something, you need to not be very narcissistic, because you need to be able to like, meet people where they are. So, the whole thing of like half the job of anything is just believing you are already that thing. Like, I bet you those super smart dudes have to be narcissistic the same way a fighter pilot does, because they need to think, I got this. I'm a fucking genius. I have to figure this out. I don't know if Neil deGrasse Tyson is publishing groundbreaking papers, but I don't know. I think that might be something that's like a byproduct of the culture they like instill in students at those kind of universities.
Yeah, no, dude, 100%. And
I got to turn on my fan. Can you see my cheeks right now?
no, I couldn't tell, bro, but that's probably because we're still waiting on that HD camera.
Ah, so pissed. You know, can you go over to the mailroom and be like, hey, I know somebody who shipped a package here. Can I just pick it up?
Yeah, bro, and then send it to you.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you should be here by the next time we do the next one, right? This might be our last Zoom.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, if we wait till next Friday to do it, I'll be there.
Right. Yeah, a week from today. We might have to. I mean, it might be worth it.
Yeah, although, hell, I can't promise on the first night that I'm there.
Oh, no, I hear that. No, I totally hear that. Dude,
Like,
we can do Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
I'm expecting that everybody in this Zoom is going to be unavailable to do a podcast on the 22nd.
Yeah.
It's going to be, oof.
Hey,
I am excited to get back.
me too.
Yeah.
I'm back and I'm excited to get back, bro. Yeah, I'm excited for people to get here because I'm just in this weird purgatory. Like tomorrow, I only have 2 hours worth of program in the middle of the day. That's it.
So what do you mean by program? Like RA stuff?
training,
Hear that?
like Zoom calls.
Okay.
Yeah, we just got tested again today. Yeah, dude.
Wait, is the gym open right now?
Dude, no, I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is. It's not open tomorrow or the next day, and it was I asked, first question I asked. I mean, legitimately, she's like, do you have any questions about the upcoming schedule? I was like, yeah, this isn't about the schedule, but is the gym fucking open? She's like, I don't know. And then 3 other students came in with different answers. And it's been open. I don't know if it's going to be open through move-in. I'm going to go in there on Monday, and I have a good feeling I'm going to be able to get in. But
Good.
Do have a little bit of bad news. They've limited the top and bottom floor of the gym to only 12 people at a time now.
Well, how do they enforce that?
They count.
Well, do you sign up beforehand, or is it just like walk?
No, remember they had that kid with the iPad?
Yeah.
And there's a live tracker you can look on your computer before you go. I know. Such a bummer. I know. I shouldn't have even told you that on the pod, bro. I shouldn't. I just fucking gave you the worst news of the day.
What I don't understand is we weren't getting COVID spread from the gym. We were getting COVID spread because you had people living off campus going to Patty's or other bars or just like going out to dinner. And it's like, hey, asshole, our whole community is relying on this.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not only that, that's true. Not only that, but they did just make a rule that says that commuters and off-campus kids cannot be on campus. So that's good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I don't even think it was that, dude, because every fucking time we had a COVID case, it was a sports team.
Yeah. Well,
football has COVID. Oh, gymnastics. Oh, fucking women's volleyball, 3 cases of COVID. It's like, bro, why are we still fucking playing indoor sports? What's going on?
Because we're Springfield, bro. We're a D1 school that receives hundreds of millions of dollars for every one of our sporting events. Duh. We have to keep it open.
It drives me crazy. That is one of the things.
Yeah.
I always think about this, right? We can actually get into this if you want. I always think about, the importance of sport versus how important it is and how unimportant it is. Like, is it actually important? Like, what are the fucking trade-offs? Like, dude, you got people graduating from D3 colleges and all they know is they like football.
Right. Dude.
They don't know anything about themselves at all, except for they like to play football. And guess what? They're not even going to fucking ever play football again.
Do you remember 2 years ago when the first, like, there was that just beast of a kid who was on the football team? Like,
Yeah.
he'd go into the weight room and throw like every weight that they had just around the gym. Hella explosive shit. He was built like Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but people were like, "Oh yeah, he might go to like a, you know, Steelers or Saints training camp or something." But then he went, and absolutely nothing came of it because he couldn't hang, and
Yeah.
he was fucking scary. I
Yeah.
stood next to him at the townhouses, and I was like, "What the fuck are you? Gorillas are allowed to go here? Like, it's
Dude,
just
different breed.
different breed."
Different
And he
breed.
was nothing. The NFL teams just chewed up, spat out. Like,
Forget about it.
yeah, it's this weird thing. I was thinking about this earlier. I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about MMA for an hour and a half. I was like, we do this really weird thing where we totally fetishize athletes and sports. And I was listening to him talk about for the 127th time why male to female transgender people shouldn't compete in like the UFC. And it's like, okay, the only reason that you care so much about this is because there's so much money invested in it. It's like, you don't need the UFC. You don't need the NFL. You don't need like the MLS, anything. Like, you don't need the NHL, NBA. If you really were about it, like for the love of the sport, great, go out and do that. I get it. You love sport, but that's like not helping anybody. And there's so many dudes who work as civil engineers and doctors and teachers and policemen and firefighters, name the occupation, but then playing like, club sports outside of it. The only reason that we hype up like these, like, I don't know, like leagues is because they generate so much revenue and because they're entertainment. Like, so we start to get this conflated view of everything. And the same way that we idolize actors and celebrities, we idolize like athletes in the same way. It's its own kind of celebrity. So I wonder how much of the drive that some people have to become super athletes or like crazy successful in any one of those major professional leagues, I wonder if some of that is the same kind of like jealous drive that people have to be like, I want to be an influencer. I want to be an actor, like all that kind of shit. You know what I mean by that?
Oh, dude, 100%. And it's it totally contributes to like our complacency as a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, wait. What do you mean, like complacency?
So, like American complacency, like as a pandemic,
the sedation of everybody,
an epidemic of complacency. Yeah, it's like exactly like you're saying, dude. People. I mean, I was just saying this to one of my buddies the other day. It's so awesome. I feel so old. Like, I know I'm young and I know I'm not old at all, but I do sometimes feel old, like reminiscing about like 6 years ago or like more like probably 10 years ago now. Right. I was like saying to my buddy, I was like, yeah, we used to go over to Jack's house and watch Sports Center in the playroom. Mm-hmm. And then mom would come in with breakfast, said the breakfast is ready. And we go out to the kitchen and there's a little fucking TV and Sports Center is playing on the fucking TV. I mean, it's inescapable, right? Yeah, and we were laughing just like, because it's just relatable or whatever. Everyone's like, yeah, it's just always playing. But like, dude, I was never that into sports. Like the way that some of my friends were, just like always consuming content about it, Mm-hmm. I know people who really know their shit about my cousin Ben. Fucking great guy. Fucking love Ben. He is so into sports. He knows everything to know about sports. And it's just such a fucking, I guess part of it is we're just like lucky enough to be able to focus on something like that. Yeah. But also it's like, it's just part of our culture, dude. We put people like that on a pedestal. We're like, how do we get like that person? And it's like, I'm sitting here playing club rugby, which is the perfect level of fucking commitment. I can do 6 other things. I can, whatever, this, that, and the other. And I'm looking at these people play D3 fucking sports, and they're practicing 6 days a week, lifting 4 days a week. They have no life. All they do is school and sports. It makes me so upset. I'm like, bro, what are you going to do when this is over? You don't know anything about yourself.
Have you seen, fuck it, I'm just going to say it. We can bleep it out.
I was watching some college football, and it's amazing. And I actually am starting to be turned on a little bit into like sporting more, just because it's very entertaining. But at the same time, I'm just to make this more of like a broad statement for other people to sort of like maybe connect with this a little bit. It's like, if you're out there right now and you're like, wow, like all I know is like this one game that I'm not going to be able to play and make any money at, I might be able to play in a club, which is important because I'm going to stay fit and be happy, that this, that, and the other thing. But but I don't know anything else about myself. I know people like this. I really do. I know people that don't know anything about themselves. Bro, and that just bums me out, man.
Everybody knows somebody like that because this epidemic is so widespread. Like, I think, the responsible thing to tell those people, go figure yourself out.
Right.
Go for a hike. Go.
Go for a fucking hike. Jesus Christ.
Go for a hike, bro.
Go take a hike. Smoke some weed.
Take some mushrooms. Learn about yourself. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah, I think, well, even those people who do go into the NFL, like, it's funny, you said, like, you're not even going to be able to make money doing this. Even if they do make money doing this, why? Like, low key, like, bro, we're in so many like ways we're Rome part 2, but at least the Romans had the decency to kill off half of their like top athletes after a performance. And I do not. Well, yeah, dude, like gladiators. Only one.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not advocating for like half of the soccer team to be shot after a match. And like, I'm not gonna bullshit. I enjoy watching rugby. I enjoy watching lacrosse, but also it's like, damn, I wonder what would happen if we use these super driven, super capable, super special people. Like, what would happen if we put them in some kind of position where they could invest all of that energy and ambition into like changing something for the better? Because
I think you see a lot of successful people after sports, if they don't have fucking CTE, pursuing something like that, right?
Yeah.
But
some,
not maybe not a lot, but some. But I think the important thing is, some people are lucky enough to play a sport at a professional level and make money. And I don't actually think there's anything wrong with that. But my big thing is like parents, like you helicoptering the shit out of your kid's high school sporting career is so, I mean, I know kids in high school who their parents would just send them away on weekends to camps, the recruitment camps, and they'd be taking videos from the sidelines. And like, it's just so depressing to me. It's like, what does that kid want to do? Why aren't you helping him like figure out who he is? Showing him, I mean, that's the best thing my parents did, is that they like made me interested in all these different categories, because it just helps you. Like, it's helped me so much to just be, figure my shit out. That's what you want to do, right? End of the day, you want to find out who you are, what you're doing, what makes you feel good, what makes you wake up in the morning. And like, if sports is that and you can play at a professional level, like that's good. But there's also like a level of reality that needs to come in. It's like, okay, like what else is behind your character? Like what else could you be that passionate and driven about? It's like, it's crazy.
but dude, like you know who those like kind those parents who are like living vicariously through their children, like you know what that is. Like it's just they literally were not taught the right way. Like, or I shouldn't even say taught, like they just haven't experienced enough to go, oh, there's more to it than this. Like it just like for them it was probably this like perfect storm of feeling like fuck, I don't fit in. Fuck, I don't feel like enough. I don't feel like I can succeed. But then they also got cut from their like varsity football team that year. They were like, that's what it is. It's football,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So if they can address that issue, then that might solve it for them. So they just do it by like, living through their kids, which, I'm not supporting it by saying this. I'm just saying like, I think that's how like a lot of people work in like a fucked up way.
Yeah.
It's hard also. I know so many people who like jump around like a real conversation where they have to be like vulnerable and like, you know, perform a lot of like metacognition where they're thinking about like their own issues and going like, oh, well, fuck, like what really is my perspective on this? Instead, they just go, oh, bro, did you see the game? This game, like this person played and that person played, and like I'm not gonna fool around and pretend that that's relegated only to sports. Like that, it's the same thing. And like who are really into celebrities, people who are really into like fantasy. It's like, oh, you can only talk about like the intricacies of the lore around Gandalf, like, and like I fall into that camp. Like I'll shit on myself. Like I'm not that into sports, but like fantasy, I see it for sure. And I know like some people who are just like nerds, and it's like, but bro, why can't you talk about anything other than the nerdy shit? It's
right. Right.
hard for us. That dude, this reminds me, like, you know how I said my dad was at an experimental school? He was telling me that he has this thing called an advisory where I'm sure you had like a guidance counselor be your like advisor throughout high school. Like, I guess he has it so like all the teachers are advisors for like different students. So he has something like 8 or 10 kids, and he works with them all the time. And he was telling me how they do 4 times a year this checkup where it's a parent teacher conference with a student involved, but it's not like this weird kind of like, well, he did something bad or there's something going on here. It's literally just, so how's everybody feeling? And the student like makes this, not a presentation.
There?
What?
The student's actually there.
Yeah, the student's there.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents are there, the teacher's there, the student's there. And the student just kind of like goes through this checklist of like, they prepare it like, this is how I'm feeling. Like, I'm kind of having an issue with this school subject. I'm kind of having an issue making friends. I'm kind of worried that I don't have a ton of fun at home. I'm kind of worried that this teacher I'm not getting along with. But then they address all of those things all together. And I was asking him, like, how do you get that to work? Because like, from my perspective, like high schoolers, at least like myself and the ones I knew, so avoidant. They're not going to just like actively say to teachers, oh yeah, man, like here's my whole life. But my dad was saying like, it goes on for 4 years. So in the first 2 years, they're pretty not open to it. But since it's 4 times a year for 4 years, by the 9th time, they're like, all right, I'm used to this. And
that's fucking cool.
Yeah, dude. And every other student does it. So it totally normalizes that behavior.
Yeah, that's super fucking cool.
I was like, whoa, when he was first telling me about it. Like,
wow.
Yeah, like,
dude, that's something that's so interesting to me, like generational patterns and
generational
trauma. Yeah, like that thing you put up the other day, the holistic psychologist post that you put up, and it was like talking about taking a look at the taking an honest look at the amount that you like put towards your own like hardships or something like that. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah. Not really. I don't know, man. There's a lot. Like
Something to that extent. You had it up on your story, dude. And basically it was just like that responsibility and that like level of like ownership, so to speak. Here it is. It says healing means taking an honest look at the role you play in your own suffering.
okay, yeah. But
And you go ahead.
I was just gonna keep harping. I was just gonna say like
Go ahead.
the same, like taking an honest role. It's like it's more than just doing it, you know. Like a lot of it is making sure it's societally okay. Like, did we talk about on here before how like a large part of why people do things the way they do things is because it seems cool, or like, yeah, okay.
I don't know if we did. I don't know if we did. Maybe like we brushed over it, but we could get into that, dude.
I was maybe having this conversation with Callie. I don't want to like move on before you have a chance to say what you're going to say. I just wanted to say that like I feel like the biggest part about that is it's making it totally acceptable for everybody at the same time, because everybody has to go through it. So it's like, yes, you're taking part, but it's also like you're forced to, you know?
Yeah.
Once there's not that weird kind of thing that we do, like, dude, this puritanical society that grew up from like Massachusetts expanded outwards, like, you know, there is still the deep roots of like Catholicism and the church where we hide everything and we stifle it down and we hide it from God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about that. So like, I don't know. That's why I thought this shit was cool.
No, it's so fucking cool, dude. And I think that the best part about that is just like forcing people to take that credibility, right? And look at themselves as a work in progress, to give themselves some slack, you know, to say like this is where I'm at and I'm here because of me and I'm here because of everything else, and nothing else is going to fix this except for me, you know.
Yeah.
And just because, you know, like the cause and like the cause of how you are and then the change are separate, right? The cause could be 100 different things that may or may not be your fault, but the change is only you, you know. And that's kind of a winning mentality, you know.
Yeah. Hell, that just totally reminded me of something earlier. I was out doing DoorDashes. I was listening to that song "Let It All Work Out" by Lil Wayne. You showed me that shit.
Fire fucking song.
Amazing song.
Amazing.
Put me on heavy. Like you showed me forever ago, and I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, yo, I haven't listened to this in a while. I was listening back to it, and it just like it struck such a chord. So I put it in like my normal playlist and everything, and I was listening to it while I was out door dashing, and I was bringing like an order of McDonald's that was like all just like it was everything on like their value menu with like enough to like feed a family. And like I went to this like area in Boston Spa that's like low income apartments and shit. And I don't know, I was like getting bummed out. I was like walking in, I was like, fuck man, like I know for a fact it's 8 p.m. Like this is their dinner. Like it's not much. Like it looked like it was like 5 burgers. I was like, okay, for 5 people, like, you know, they probably have water, maybe they have other snacks, but like, fuck, they probably don't have enough to cook. Like, it was just, yeah, tough.
Yeah.
But then I was seeing like the area around and I was like, holy shit. And I got to the door and I knocked on it and I opened it and I had the bag, and just like the dude who answered the door, it must have been like the dad, because I could hear like kids in the background, and like some woman's voice. But he opened the door and he just had he had the biggest smile on his face and he had like such a light behind his eyes. And like, I don't know, I just like, do you ever have those moments where it just feels almost psychedelic in scope, or religious in scope? Like it just feels so like profound all of a sudden. Like I talked to him. I was like, oh, here, like, I got your food. And like the way that he said thank you, I was just like, whoa, like, bro, you're really welcome. Like,
Yeah, that's so dope.
I wish I could like relay the way that it felt, but like I was thinking about it for like the next 40 minutes. Like, holy fuck, I could tell, like, you just look in people's eyes sometimes and you know like there is a certain feeling behind it. And like I saw nothing but like optimism and love behind
Mhm.
behind like his eyes and just the way he was interacting. Like, it just felt very genuine. I was like, holy shit, like that is somebody who has probably not had the best lot in life. You know, it seemed like 3 kids. Like he's living in like a low income area. Like he didn't look young. He was probably
Right.
like at least mid 30s. Like, and to have like what seemed like a positive outlook, like it that didn't look like, because I've seen people who like you're in a bad place and you
You
think
can,
you
yeah.
smile. That's not what that looks like. Like that, it just felt genuine.
Mm.
So yeah, like that seems like the type of dude who was like mastered his, his situation, or not mastered it, but
Yeah.
he is, what you were saying, taking power of where you're at,
Mm.
the power of where he's at, and what Lil Wayne's talking about through that whole song, just like let it all work out. Like
Mm.
it's gonna be okay. Like it's gonna be this way for a little bit, and then it'll be good.
Right.
Like I could tell that guy was living that.
Right.
Yeah, fuck. I had to share it. That was just so like it was so profound to me when it happened.
Dude, that's so cool when you can get that feeling off of it. Like that is just such, for me, that is such a sought after um persona. Like to have the energy that like somebody else knows how grateful you are of your
Yeah.
life, especially when your life, you could, I mean, you could just be so bummed out,
Yeah.
but instead you're not, and that Little Wayne song is fucking awesome, man. I'm like, pretty confident I got that story right that I told you about that song. Basically, like Lil Wayne talks about how he shot himself, and for years and years and years and years, everyone thought it was like a misfire, it was an accident. And then in the song, he talks about how he was like he committed suicide basically, and
Right.
he
Tried
didn't,
to.
and he
Yeah.
didn't die, right? And I think, I don't know, I mean, I could be way off here, but I think what I was told was that was like really the first time that anyone really knew, when that song came out, that anyone really knew that he had tried to commit suicide. And just, dude, it gives me the chills every time I listen to that song. So if you haven't heard that song, you gotta listen to it. It's fucking amazing.
And bro,
But
even if that's not the story, let's consider it the story, because it
it's the
makes the
story.
song so much better. Like,
Yeah, right,
you know,
right. And you'll hear it and you'll be like, oh my God, this shit is it is so heavy. Like, and today I actually had a similar experience today where something just like came over me. Um I was like just driving to Springfield from Amherst, leaving Carolyn's coming back to school, and I was a little bit late, dude. I was rushing to get back. So I got tested in time. And at this light in Springfield, there's always a homeless person at this light. There just always is. It's a different person usually most of the time.
is that
Uh,
the section right before like that small residential area near Rifle Street?
yeah, and, well, yes, and it's near. It's right near that McDonald's that we went
That
to.
might not be what I'm thinking of.
I'm sure there's a
Either
couple
way,
of
either
spots,
way.
but
Yeah.
this dude was like looking for money, and he was going up to cars and stuff, and I was like, fuck, I got a couple dollars in my wallet, whatever. Like I'll like wave him over, and I tried to like get his attention for the whole time the light was red, and I like couldn't catch him or whatever, and then I finally like honked and he ran over, and I don't know what happened. Like sometimes I honestly usually I won't um do that,
Yeah.
But I was like, I needed, like, I don't know. I just felt like I needed to do something. So I only had a couple bucks, you know, I felt it. I was like, I got to give him a couple bucks. And he came over. I was like, listen, I only got $2 in my wallet, you know, whatever. And he goes, okay, no worries, man. Everything helps. And I hand him the money. And I was just like, I love you. And then he was like, yeah, I love you too. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, like, fuck, like, this is
Yeah.
cool. And then after I drove away and I felt super awkward and like uncomfortable, I was like, I just told some random dude I loved him, but like, I just felt like he probably like I felt like I needed to say that because
Yeah.
like it makes me feel better. And also like it probably he wanted to hear that too, you know, like that kind of thing. And it was just like,
Yeah. But
it was
dude,
cool.
it wasn't a conscious decision for you.
It was completely
Yeah.
unconscious. It was so unconscious. I was like a little bit uncomfortable after. I was like, did I really just say that? I was like, maybe that was weird. And then it wasn't. It was cool. It was good.
How cool is that though? Like, I don't know. I'm sure everybody gets that, right? Where you have like something where, you know, and it might not be something as like, you know, humanitarian and like nice as I love you. Sometimes it might be like some awkward comment you want to make later, or it's like, you're leaving. Thanks for having us, you know? Like,
yeah, right. But you mean it though.
Yes. There's a reason that wants to come out. Dude, I will say, I think a lot of what funnels into anxiety, depression, issues with social situations, issues with confidence, say whatever the fuck is on your mind. Because like too long, like at least for me, and like talking to other people, I know like, you know, you stifle that so much where it's like, well, I want to tell this person like I really enjoyed hanging out with them, but like no, I want to make sure that I still look cool.
Yeah, that's
it's the
that's
worst.
why I hate when people say like no homo or like pause or like any of that shit.
Be
Like
homo, bro. It's like if you want to kiss me, you want to kiss me. It's cool. Like,
dude, I love that shit. I love just people knowing how I feel about them. That's important to me.
Yeah. But again, in terms of like what is socially acceptable,
right?
We're not doing that 4 times a semester.
Right.
4 times a semester. We're not forced to do that in front
of oh, it's so cool, man.
I love that. I love that.
Like, dude, people, and that's the question you got. And I can't wait for you to come back to school because I had a realization that I don't think you really listen to much J. Cole.
Not much, like at all.
That's really like gearing me up right now. The fact that you haven't listened to much J. Cole, because you are gonna get right when you hear some of this shit. Like we're gonna smoke some weed and you're gonna be like, oh my God, this guy is a fucking genius.
I don't want to interrupt this thought, bro.
No, that's really all I had.
Okay, we got to get hemp. Have you smoked hemp with weed before? So hemp is just CBD weed. It's flower, but it's all CBD.
Okay.
You roll CBD weed in with the normal weed, like I'm talking like 30, 60, or well, I guess it'd be more like 33, 66.66 repeating or whatever. You just like put all that shit together. It is the best high ever.
Really?
Like, not what people want weed to be, because people think that weed is acid in like popular culture, but like what our parents said about weed, like, oh, it would just chill you out a ton. Because a lot of weed nowadays, I find myself like, that dispensary stuff, I'm rubbing my legs, going like this, like a fucking meth addict.
Dude, it's on the verge of psychoactivity. I gotta say,
it's almost too much. So I rolled CBD flower into this, and I was just like, I felt like I was in like a meadow of like sunflowers and shit. Like, it is so good, and it's so cheap.
Yeah. I have a CBD. I have a joint rolled, a fat ass joint rolled of CBD that I saved.
CB Diesel?
That's the name of that weed I was telling you about that was like supposed to be full CBD, but it's like probably closer to like half and half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
dude, if you and I could literally smoke the whole thing, and I think it would be like that. I was saying, like, you can't smoke too much of it. It's the
Right.
best. It's so good.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good
That's
stuff.
sick. That's sick.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I don't know what it was, but like obviously I've only done it once so far, but this is like 18% THC weed, which
Mm.
is not crazy high. It's
No.
brain bomb, but it's still enough where like, um, you know, if I smoke it just by myself and I'm already a little anxious, then I'll be like, "Live."
Mm.
Um, so with just the CBD weed, I just felt like it was like holding me. It was like, hey, you're all right, little buddy. Like, just
Yeah.
go have a good time, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Coaxing me out onto like what was the thing in Finding Nemo that they were playing on that Marlin wouldn't allow Nemo onto?
Oh, the fucking ledge or whatever.
No, it was like it was little patches, little things that they were bouncing on.
Oh,
You know what I'm
oh,
talking about?
what was it? Like the
No, it was something
jellyfish?
it wasn't jellyfish. It was like, one of the kid fishes was like bouncing on it. He goes, bolt, bolt, and then falls off, hits the ground, stops for a second, and then goes, like, you know what I'm talking about?
I know I can see the scene, but I just don't know what they're
Yeah.
called.
It's not important. The people get the visual at this point. But yeah,
Okay.
that's how I felt.
Dude,
It's
I
really
feel
good.
you.
It's really good. And when
Yeah.
you go to gas stations to get it, like, yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, they sell it, dude. They sell like CBD weed everywhere.
Wow.
At least in New York they do, or like my area.
That's cool, dude.
I was pretty excited when I heard. Like I was kind of edgy about it, but my friend James, who's like he tripped so much that he's like, he's our age, and he's like, oh, I never want to trip again. Yeah, he's like, I only smoke CBD joints now. And I
Whoa.
was like, really? Why not just get the dropper? He was like, because that's bullshit. It's not as good.
Mm,
Yeah. So he put me on.
interesting. Well, that's cool, dude. We'll try that.
Yeah.
Anyone at home who wants to try not getting fucking rocketed, try that
Yeah.
out.
Test it. Test it.
That's cool.
I recommend the 1/3, 2/3 configuration. I feel like that works. But
Yeah, dude, I'm finally like getting there. I'm ready for everyone to come back, dude. I won't like you know, I'm ready to do the old sesh, the old walk around town. Dude,
I want somebody to pitch me a bong sesh that's better than walking around with a joint.
oh, I think it's impossible.
Impossible.
It might be impossible.
I will say the winter, it proposes obstacles, however
Yeah.
you get around them. Like,
Just got a bundle. Just got a bundle. Dude,
bundle
let's take a quick break. I gotta take a piss.
that's a good idea.
All right, we'll be right back. Yeah, dude. I mean, this is just garbage time now, honestly. I feel like we're just fucking shooting the shit.
Yeah, we're not even talking about anything really.
Honestly, dude, the first hour was solid. Like, we can just, I mean, we were just talking about weed this whole time. We'll look through, see if anything's good.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not a problem. Like, an hour is pretty good. People probably tap out around then, anyways.
Yeah. Do we want to transition to anything else, or I don't know? So, what?
I was just gonna say, is there anything that you've been like thinking of that you wanted to talk about?
That's the thing. I feel like I'm just kind of like I'm content. I've been too content to have issues to talk about, if that makes
Me
sense.
too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've really been trying to like get into the whole like optimism thing a lot recently.
Cool.
Yeah, as I should have been. Like, yeah. So I was talking to Callie earlier, and she was like, "Oh man, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to work a job and still have time to do all this shit with friends." And I was like, "Well, dude, like if you do that, if you do work that job and you miss out on other experiences, you weren't meant to experience that in the first place. Like, whatever it is, you are going to get absolutely everything you need in however it manifests.
So true.
It is. And like,
So fucking true.
yeah, I've been doing I'm doing a lot of meditation.
Mm.
Really been looking into Ram Dass a ton recently.
Mm.
Um, I found like a PDF of Be Here Now, which I've been like rereading. Just like, yeah, really like trying to like center myself more.
Mm.
And like, dude, the biggest thing has just been like for the longest time. I think I was putting myself in a box, and that's something that we're all like super, super like guilty of,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whether we do it to ourselves or other people. And I felt like I was putting myself in a box in a way where it's like you have to find what your box is, because how are people going to be able to interpret you if you have no box? And I was thinking back to like high school or freshman year. And I was like, oh, like, you pissed some people off with what you said. And like, you can't just like let anything rip. And then I was like, wait a second. That's who I am. All I can do is expand my own awareness of like, what I really believe. But there is absolutely zero fucking point in censoring myself or moving myself to be something that I think I should be when I'm not that thing yet.
Right.
And dude, that was like a powerful realization.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, I've been eating my bananas to maintain like my serotonin levels and everything.
Cool.
Maintaining with constant meditation and like working out, and it's really helped to like stabilize like my mood, I feel. And I do feel better like thinking about it that way. Because then it's just like, okay, you're going to judge me for being a different human being than you are. It's like, one, like, we're the same. Two, like, it's not my fault. I didn't have the same experiences as you.
Yeah.
Like,
And three, I'm sorry that you feel like that judgment is the only response to you not understanding me for who I am. Like,
right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and I hope that someday you can find the space to be tolerant of that, because I'm tolerant of you.
Yeah, man. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember I was saying like I felt like I wasn't giving myself the love that I was trying to give to other people?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been riding that shit recently.
Let's go.
Like, I try so hard to like see what other people are feeling, but then it's like, wait, I can't even show them that like I have that love for them because I don't have enough love for myself.
Right.
To communicate it. It's like,
right.
I'm just fucking dead in the water. Like, yeah.
And there's nowhere to go. That's so cool, dude. That's the best thing. And like, and the same thing with the boxes. Like, I know somebody, like, I know that people that just say like, oh, well, I have depression and it's in my brain chemistry, and that's just the way it's always going to be.
Right.
And it's like, well, no, like, challenge yourself. Like, you can be, like a better version of yourself, regardless of your chemistry, regardless of, the way that you're built. Like, there are things that you can do to be the best version of you. And like, it's not going to be easy. Like, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but confronting the reality that you live in every day, like, there's really only two options. Either you confront it, positively or negatively, right? So you confront it and say, wow, I'm just fucked. Or you confront it and say, wow, like, this is the way it is. And if I don't fucking do what I can do, then it's always going to be like this, And so like,
yeah,
it's so fucking encouraging to hear you say that you've been like spending all that time. Like, that just makes me so happy, because I've been like so excited being back at school, man. Like, in the back of my mind, I've just been craving this schedule, this self-made schedule that school allows for, man. Like, at home, I just give, my time up way more easily. And I have this internal struggle where I'm like, well, it's just easier when I'm at school. Like, when I get back to school, I'll start back up on this like road to self-betterment, but while I'm here, it's just too much. And then, one side of me is like, well, that's just an excuse. Like, you can do that here. Like, you don't believe, like, hell, you don't believe in not having enough time for something. And then the other side is like, well, yeah, but like, dude, like, it's okay to like not be doing that right now. You could just do that when you get to school, because it like, yeah, maybe it's an excuse, but it really is a better environment to do that in. And I feel like, um, I just got here, dude. I just lined up my books on my shelf. Like I know my full routine the second I wake up tomorrow morning, dude. And like, I'm so fucking excited to just dive into that, you know? And it's a weird place to be. Like, I think there's a level of, you should be pushing yourself to make sure that you're doing the things that you need every day. And
Right.
you should also be forgiving yourself when you're not doing the things that you need to do every day. And that is such a hard line to walk, because it's like, when do you forgive and when do you push, and what's
Right.
okay? You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like,
yeah, dude. You were talking about, like, it's not a walk in the park. Like, it's more than that. Like, if you're somebody who is really struggling, like, dead honest, I have bad anxiety, but like, I don't have really bad depression. Like, you know, like, I'm gonna be totally honest. There have been maybe 2 times in my life where I've, like, you know, like, clinically had like suicidal ideation. But those were just bad times where I was not in control of myself, struggling with like substance abuse issues, where I was like at the absolute worst. And it was like, I just was not being the best version of me.
right.
Granted, it's also like this cursed like chemistry, but it's like, what can I do to get in control of that?
Mm.
If people want to totally get in control of that, it is the biggest sacrifice, maybe the most painful thing you're ever going to do for
Right.
probably like the better part, well, maybe the lesser part of 2 years now. I've been trying to like, work on myself, like divorce myself from like this previous, like selfish, like just
Right.
shitty person who I didn't want to be. And it feels like I'm going full circle now, reconnecting to who I used to be, but learning all these lessons where it's like, this can't happen because of that. That can't happen because of this. Like, learning lessons that I should have known forever ago, but I just didn't. And it's okay that I
Right.
didn't know those lessons because I've learned them now. But for that year and a half, this sacrifice where I was like uncomfortable and didn't feel like myself and was not, the most confident version of, who I could be, that was my living being. Like, that is what you need to go through, and maybe on like a worse scale if you're going
Right.
to terms with this, you know people who, if you are truly living a totally virtuous life and everything is working out how you want it to work out, odds are you're not going to be depressed. Odds
Right.
are you're not going to be anxious. There is something doing it. There is a cause of it, whether it be a deep-rooted trauma that you haven't come to terms with yet, or maybe it's something that's present in your current situation. There is something that can be changed.
Mm.
And I don't want that to be misconstrued by people as like, you're not doing enough in this moment. That should be a message of hope.
Mm.
There is a definitive light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
You're going to have to suffer before you
Yeah.
get there.
It's
Like, and
it. Yeah. No, I didn't want to cut you off.
you're good. That was the end of it.
And that's what I keep saying to people too, about like the state of the country and everything else. It's like, it's always darkest before the dawn, man. Like,
Yeah.
we're getting there. Like, we're getting there. This is a time when, whether it's internal or external, whether it's you and your personal struggles or the country as a whole, and you're not feeling too good about the outcome, like, man, we've been through this shit.
Right.
And we'll be through it again and again and again. And every time, we get better every time. And that's the kind of thing that's like, that's where religion comes in, man. Like, that's where there's a strength in religion. It's like this blind faith in like a higher power that's going to get you through a hard time. It's like, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in your own psyche and your own ability to push, like, or
Yeah.
both, because I feel like I'm somewhere in between those two. It's like,
Yeah, faith in anything. Yeah.
faith in yourself is just, the ability to understand and forgive yourself for being where you are and know that you can be better and that it will be better, and I think that that's kind of, that's it. Just the last thing you want to do is let somebody else tell you how you feel about something.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want to do is to have somebody, a doctor, tell you that you're clinically depressed, and then their statement becomes how you feel about yourself, regardless of whether that's true or not, like,
Yeah. It's the boxing, the self-identification.
right.
It's dangerous. Like,
And it's often easier to accept a harder fate. This is a quote. It's like, like, people have a hard life make when they decide to do easy things.
yeah.
So it's like every time that you decide not to address that issue, every time you decide to look the other way, your life becomes harder a little bit every time.
Yeah. Yes. Dude, a big thing I've been realizing recently, like, this like started with skiing. I hadn't been skiing in a while. Like, last year I got to go once. And it was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Going into this winter, I was like, I was in a flow state. I was reading where my feet were. I was only thinking about me and what was going on under me and ahead of me.
Let's go.
And, just like a really good place to be. Then I was like, whoa, like, this job's really fucking scary, but like, watch me bitch this. So I learned how to like properly land and everything. Like, so far this season, I've gotten so much better at doing jumps and stuff. Still can't go switch. I can't go backwards yet, but I can do the jumps. And that's definitely like something clicked where I was like, what other things am I avoiding out of fear? And this electric feeling I have right now, this insane sense of accomplishment, or just this feeling of like confidence, just lack of anxiety. Like, every other area in my life is like that. It's like, I'm just going to fall and hurt myself a few times. But I need to get back up and do it. And I think what I realized is I have been falling for too long, and I've just been in an eternal roll down the like slope. And I haven't like pushed my hand out for fear of dislocating my wrist to stop myself from getting back up and go for it again. So yeah, everything I've been trying to do recently, and like everything that people should be trying to do, like, challenge yourself, face those fears. It's not bullshit to face your fears. Like, Theodore fucking Roosevelt said it the best, like, the only thing to fear is fear itself. That applies to everything. Your depression could be coming from, I'm terrified what'll happen if I say to my parents when they transgress on a boundary that I'm not comfortable with.
Right.
Terrified what will happen if I go outside of this career path I've chosen for myself.
Right.
All those things, man.
Yeah. Like, there's a saying too, like, fail forward.
I like that.
Yeah.
Fail forward.
You fail into your next success, kind of thing. And that's the kind of thing, dude. You look at that and you look at your life and you see how it applies, and you see that things just aren't the way that you've been looking at them all the time.
It's really hard to get like outside of your perspective though. Something has to happen. You have to deliver McDonald's to somebody who's
right. You have to,
and they smile back at you.
Yeah, bro, and you can feel it. You have to fucking tell some random homeless dude you love them, even though you never met them before, and you feel weird about it after. It's like, it's a weird It's a crazy world that we live in, and that kind of thing, that kind of intuition, that kind of sense, that sixth sense that you have when you meet somebody and like all of a sudden you look into their eyes and you can see the trauma for years and the compounding of pain and
Yeah.
hardship, and after all of that, after seeing that crazy fucking whirlwind of suffering, you see this beautiful, positive and loving person,
Right.
and you feel that, you really, I mean, people listen to this, you know what I mean, you feel that on a whole new level, and you're just like, wow, that's when you know that like we are one and the same. Like, this is you and me and every other fucking person on this earth is cut from the same cloth. We're all humans, we're all on the same team,
Yeah.
and like that's all there is to it. Like, everyone is beautiful, everyone is ugly, everyone is everything. And like, it just when you have that moment when that thing clicks, and you might have to have 100 of those moments. Like, you can forget easily, you can
Right.
easily forget the beauty of that moment, and have to be reminded, and it's like, I was thinking of something the other day. I was like, how can I remain curious? How can I remain easily entertained, asking questions, and learning, and being interested in little things that I already know about, how, like,
Okay.
that's how you stay young. That's how you stay,
Right.
positive, and just like enthralled with your world. And I think that that's a secret to life. Like,
Like
is
the path of the student,
what's that?
like living the path of the student.
Yeah, yeah, man. Always be curious. Always be fucking wondering what's going on. What do you think about that?
I buy into that. I think that's the way to do it. Like, I've been at my most unhappiest when I think I know everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What
Yeah.
a deep-seated disdain that comes with ignorance.
Bro, I cannot even begin. Like, um, it's fucked up. Like, you get to this level where you feel like, oh, I've done so much work. I must know what's going on. Like, look at me. I read a ton of stuff. And it's like, well,
You
okay.
snap, like, I've snapped at somebody before, and I've been like, I'm in charge. Like, I fucking get to tell you what to do. And then you're like,
No.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 Jesus. And you feel it. Like, there was a time before this specific instance where I was like more recently put in charge or whatever. Like, I've talked about on here before, I was in the scouts, and I was like, like second in command or whatever. And this fucking kid was a total shithead, and he was just being a dick. And I was like, I just like unleashed on him, right? And I was like, I'm fucking like, this is like, you got to listen to me now. Like, I'm not letting this shit fly. You're not going to pick on everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then, literally as I was saying it, man, like, this knot in my stomach formed. And like, afterwards, I was like, oh, that was just the worst way I could have done that. Like,
Yeah.
but dude, so you have moments like that, right? But the thing is, it's like, you understand, like, there's this level of like, somewhere deep down, somebody is talking to you saying like, oh, there's a better way to do that. Like, don't do that. It's like those TikToks I sent you with that dude,
Yeah,
and
the
he
fast
talks to
talking
himself.
guy. Yep.
So good. That's real, man. Your conscience will like tell you the right thing to do 100% of the time. It's just like, how quiet have you, like, how much have you silenced that voice inside your head, And
Right.
like, I can listen now 10 years later to that conscience, but back then I knew the feeling. I feel the feeling that I felt back then, but I didn't understand it.
Right. Right. It's going to be really interesting to see, like, thinking 10 years into the future,
Oh my
What am I
God.
gonna look? Yeah, what am I gonna look back and I'll just be like, oh, dude, you didn't get it. Like,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is, like, we were talking about like being a student and everything, and like you know, the cocksureness that comes from like just a little bit of knowledge.
Right.
You're right over another person once, and it's just like, oh, all right, I can add that shit to my belt.
Right.
And then it's just like you need 10 times that of experiences where you're wrong, where you realize how short-sighted you were to correct for that one thing. Um, and sometimes we luck out and we have that one thing where it's just like, whoa, okay, all right, re-perspectivize. I don't have it all figured out. Like, somehow I thought I was at the end of the road, even though I am 20% through my life. Like, you ever played a video game and 20% through the game, you've had all the abilities? No. Like, you don't get all the abilities until the end of the game.
Right.
Like, and
Right.
you need that to defeat the final boss. So
Yeah.
it's like, I just have small bosses right now. It's fine that I don't have that final ability. I want it, but I don't need it right now.
Yeah.
Because I can use everything I have to get through what I need to get through.
Yeah.
I just need to be smarter about it, or I just need to be more empathetic about it, or I just need to be more understanding. I need
Right.
more
Right.
all these things, like, but it's things that you can do. Dude, spam Ram Dass again. Everything you need, you have. Like,
Yeah. Fuck.
it's I love that statement. Man, I've been putting, like, every month I've been putting a little quote on my like whiteboard calendar. This month's quote for January is, don't bother getting angry at reflections of yourself, which is just like, everybody, we're the same, experience slightly different things.
Right.
And I've been struggling with this a lot because I find it easy to get pissed off at all kinds of people. Like, the Capitol Hill protests. I shouldn't even say protests. The Capitol Hill traitors. Like, you can hear it in my voice saying traitors. Like, I'm mad about that. I'm angry at somebody who is me that has had different experiences.
Yeah.
It is a very, very difficult thing to do. But everything that I have at my disposal to deal with that specific thing right now, it's what I need. Because I'm going to do something or say something stupid related to my current understanding of it when dealing with somebody else who's different than me, that I'm going to have one of those,
moments.
One of those moments where I'm just like, oh, where like I can really see, like, I know it's going to happen. Like,
and dude, to go in deeper on that quote too, like, reflections of yourself. Don't get mad about reflections of yourself. Like, yeah, it's people that are all like, we're all one and that kind of thing. But also, like, it's probably also confronting the parts, like, literally, quite literally, of yourself that you see in other people that you think that you're above. Not you specifically, I'm saying people in general, right? Like, I'll look at somebody and I'll be like, wow, like, I can't believe that they would just be such a gossiper. Like,
right.
I just can't get behind that, right? And then I'll go behind someone's back and be like, fucking A, they won't do the fucking dishes. And then I'll be like, well, you dickhead, like, you just said, and so it's like, yeah, don't be mad about the fucking, because if I can take a second and forgive myself for that, one, I'm more likely to not do it in the future. And two, I'm more likely to forgive somebody else for doing the same thing,
Yeah.
That's a cool statement because you can take that anywhere with anything.
Right? Like,
yeah,
dude, Ram Dass has a lot of like just amazing teachings like that.
Amazing.
Like, it's sick. His biggest thing is like, love yourself before you learn to love anything. If you can do that, you'll have love for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how he got to that level, but I also do know how he got to that level. But the path is like a hard one to follow.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if it's meant for everyone, but like definitely like it's cool to walk on that road for a little bit.
Oh, dude, 100%. I think
Yeah.
we're all trying to get there slowly, and I think that's what troubles me the most when I see somebody who's like doesn't see the importance of that road and who isn't traveling. Somebody who's accepted the way that they are, because
Yeah.
they think that's their final form, that kind of thing. I think of a lot of adults stuck in that kind of wave, and they're not. I think something really beautiful about the people our age right now is that like we just have this longing to be better.
Yeah.
And I think there's a level of um, acceptance in the way that things are that comes with age that hopefully we can battle off, but also just comes with like as a generational theme that
Right.
that's carried with people that are older than us. And
Well,
people will say like the world's unfair. The world's not fair, like blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. It's like just like accepting the way that things are instead of saying like, no, like how much more benefit would I have gotten if every time I was like, well, that's not fair. And then my parents were like, the world's not fair. Then instead of them saying that, they'd be like, well, the world is just beautiful and you're just looking in all the wrong places. And then I'd be like, whoa, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm angry right now and you're telling me the world's beautiful. Like, that would make me think so much more,
yeah,
It's
especially coming from
accepting what
parents.
is.
Yeah. Dude, I don't want to segue, but like
Go
I
ahead.
feel like I have legitimately nothing to contribute on that. Because I think you just said that in the most beautiful way you could possibly say it. I wanted to kind of like tack on.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with like my mom the other day, and she was like, my aunt, she's like she's like almost conspiracy theorist, and I was having like uh I was looking at her Facebook posts, and I showed it to my mom. I was like, this is crazy, and it was saying like, not in these exact words, but basically immigrants shouldn't be here. People shouldn't be gay. People shouldn't be thinking there's more than two genders, like all this shit. And it was like, our country has become backwards. Like, I wish more people could see this. So I texted my aunt about it. I was like, yo, I am extremely saddened that you would write this shit on Facebook. Like, you and like my uncle have been a huge part of my life, since I was really little. And I know you guys have huge hearts, and it just shakes me to my core that somebody who I know is capable of so much love would go ahead and post such hateful stuff on a public forum where other people can see it and tie it back to you. Um, and my mom was like, you're just young and idealistic. You don't understand. Like, you just need to let other people be and everything. And I was like, no, what happened to you that makes you think you can't still be idealistic? Just
Right.
because,
Right.
because I haven't been beaten down by the world yet doesn't mean that there isn't redemption for you.
So heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking.
Yeah. And she was kind of just like, well, you don't get it. And I was like,
It's like a spirit, like
no.
that's just no longer within.
It bummed me out. It really did bum me out.
And that's what I'm talking about, Nate, that I was saying earlier, like that ability to be curious and to pursue better, and
Right.
people just they top off. They're done. They level out, and that's not the world. That's not a world that anybody wants to live in.
Right.
And Yeah, I think it's good to keep people accountable. I think it's a hard conversation to have with your family member, like
It's very hard.
props to you, dude, for saying something and saying something in a way that's so like loving and also just like disappointed at the same time. Like,
Well,
um,
it wasn't much of a conversation. She didn't respond.
right. That sucks. But she read it, man. And at least you didn't say, wow, you're such a fucking bigot. Fuck you. At least you said, you've been so capable of loving me, and I can't believe you would say this. And even if she didn't respond, she thought about it. And that's all you can do. And that's the other thing. It's like you did your part. Like, and people need to be accountable, and they need to be accountable. And this is something that like being in a relationship with Carolyn has taught me like so much. It's like accountability does not need to be a slap on the wrist. It can be a hug.
Right.
Like accountability can literally be like, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
why are you doing that? Like, and that is so much more powerful than a slap on the wrist, and fuck you. Like people, they just don't know what to do with that. They're like, oh, you know
It's tough because, well, or I guess I shouldn't say it's tough. It's not tough. It's weird for people because when you reprimand with love, then you're right. They don't know what to do. It's like, well, I can't outright get pissed off at this person,
right.
but I also can't admit to myself that I have an issue here because that would shake me to my core. And I mean, I think the difficult thing comes around when we realize that, like, uh, you know, oh, I just haven't been given enough love in my life. Like, there's all kinds of people. Like, I think about my mom. During this conversation, I was like, well, I know who my grandma is. And she, like, she expects perfection. She's the, like, quintessential PTA mom. She is like that girl in the 50s who, if you thought about the 50s, you would say, oh, that's Beverly Cole. Like, it's just like the most quintessential traditionalist. And mom was raised with that. And my mom's not like a girly girl. Like, she's like, she's into math and she's like an academic. Like, she likes going on hikes and shit. And it's just like, oh, you were deprived of maternal love. Like, what does that do to you?
Yeah.
You raised me. I'm one of, like, the most independent and also, like, I don't know, not outright aggressive, but like not able to reciprocate emotion, like, kind of people I know. Like, for my entire childhood, if one of my parents said, I love you, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Because, like, I didn't know how to handle it. It was just so much overwhelming anxiety that it was like, everything's an attack, everything's backhanded, all that. So it's like, well, mom, like, you have been the subject of, through your mom, through me, through my sister, and through my father, like, everything has fallen on you in a way. I do not blame you a single bit for how you feel right now. I do not blame you at all for, being like, oh, you can't say that to your aunt. She's your family, because you're clinging to anybody who would possibly give you the time of day. I understand exactly where your cracks are. I understand exactly what the brokenness is.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, if I said to you, like, hey, look, like, I disagree, but I have this love for her and you and all that, like, I still wonder, would she really be able to hear it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is there a point where some people can't understand that, like, reprimanding through love? I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, it's not done enough. It's not practiced enough.
Yeah, I think you, like, have a very good point in that it works in, like, relationships at our age. we have not been through enough pain.
Right.
We're like 20 years old. Like, it's not enough time to accrue the amount of emotional suffering our parents have.
But I mean, Nate, dude, honestly, like we might not ever accrue that much. Like there's a certain level of betterment that comes with every generation. Every mom and dad wants their kid to be better off than, than they were. And that's something I was saying to somebody, like somebody was telling me, I think I've told you this before, and I just don't want to say names on the pod, but someone was telling me that like they had their grandmother was like super nasty. And then this person was also like really unhappy with their mom. And I was like, wow, like, like the problems that you have with your mom are probably from your grandmother, and those problems are probably from her mom. And then this person was like, oh yeah, like, yeah, that's probably true. And I was like, well, let's stop for a second and just be so like and just be so optimistic in this moment and say, imagine if you were the generation that stopped the trauma from reciprocating. Like imagine if bang, 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 fucking who fucking knows how long? Like
Yeah.
years and years and years of fucking recreating this system of abuse and trauma, and every time it gets a little bit better, and all of a sudden it's like you are so fucking solid as a human, you have so much love,
Right.
that you don't pass on that trauma to your kids, and the beauty in that, I mean, that's a possibility for people in our generation. It really is.
It is. The thing is, like, that person or any person needs to, what we were talking about before, they need to make that sacrifice where they go, okay, I give my pride to the wind.
Right.
I give the person who I was to the wind.
Right.
I give almost everything to whatever. You basically have to start anew. And that is terrifying for some period.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this person should take mushrooms, but this person doesn't really want to take mushrooms.
Right.
So it's like, whatever. But there's a reset needed to, like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be done through mushrooms or psychedelics or anything. That's just like, I have a limited perspective, and in my limited perspective, that is what seems most, direct for me.
It's worked for you.
Right. It's worked for me, but I need to understand everybody's different.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
I think, like, to break that generational trauma, you need to be able to totally, like, take in love. And it's just so hard. Again, going back to what we were talking about with, if you don't love yourself, you can't love other people.
Yeah.
I don't know if this person really loves themselves. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And it's so hard to teach that. It's so hard to just be like, well, like, you kind of hear these things like, do unto others as you want to be done unto you, and love yourself before you love somebody else, and 100 more things. You hear those over and over again, and then I feel like, for me at least, slowly these things have been coming into fruition where I've, like, it just, like, the key is just turning the lock open, like, bink, like, all along the line, open, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm still shackled in, like, hundreds of these locks, but, like, every single time one opens, I realize how many more I have, but I also have one less than I did before.
Yes. That's the big thing. That is the big thing. I have one less. And again, bringing it full circle, like it's all going to work out.
Right.
Just let it happen.
Let it all work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lil fucking Wayne, bro. And Lil Wayne, I mean, that fucking dude is. Did you know he got signed when he was 9 years old? He got signed to a rap. He was in a rap group when he was 9, and he got signed to a record label. You can look it up. I've looked it up.
I believe you. I believe you.
Fucking ridiculous. I mean,
That's wild.
talk about a prodigy.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, he has some objectively really good stuff. I was listening to Thought Carter 2. Am I pronouncing that right? Is it the or thaw?
What's the name of the album?
It's pronounced, or it's spelled THACARTER. But is it that Carter, or is
No, I'm sure it's just the Carter. Yeah, the Carter.
like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
My caucasity prevents me from being able to like fully, but
Dude.
like I was listening to the Carter 2, and I was like, oh my God, like all of these songs have this message in some respect. Like, he's got to hunt for it. Like,
He's amazing, man.
Yeah. He's really fucking smart.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, that's probably a good loop. Fucking dude, there is a song. Oh, that's sick. We'll end here. I got a quick little story. Dude, there's a song that Lil Wayne did recently, and he like says like a fire little like set of bars, and then he like says it again, and then at the end he says, I looped it. And then every time I smoke with my boys at home, like when things come full circle, I'll look at my buddy Ryan and I'll be like, I looped it. And then you just looped it, man, with Lil Wayne. So it's perfect. It's a perfect end cap.
Awesome ending.
Yeah, facts.
Damn. All right. Well, what is this? Is this 14 or 15?
I think it's 14, but I might be 15.
Okay. Let's call it 15. Let's be optimistic.
Yeah, man, fuck it.
15, baby. Thanks for tuning in.
And we should be in person next week. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You
might be seeing no more Zoom overlay.
Oh,
Hyped for that.
Thank Jesus. Yo,
I'll tell you what, I'm hyped for it.
Oh, so hyped. We gotta get rocked.
Yes.
I think we're gonna get rocked. I mean, it might not be even like a completely understandable pod.
Bro, let's get unintelligible. Like,
yeah.
We'll get a speech therapist to act on us.
Let's go.
I think, I don't know, the person you asked me about to be a guest, he is heartily uninterested in being a guest.
Oh no.
Not because he doesn't fuck with the vision, but because he doesn't want to talk for 2 hours. We have similar brands of social anxiety. He's not comfortable with it.
Well,
I understood. I get it.
And I wouldn't want him to be uncomfortable. We should hit up Lukey Sauls.
I was just gonna pitch that. I was calling him the other day. Like in the past week, I've probably talked to him for like 3 hours. We've been like calling like every now and then.
Let's go.
He's on a path right now.
Oh yeah.
It's not identical, but he's parallel right now. He's got a lot of shit to say. I think
we should do it.
Yeah.
Look forward to our first guest, yo. I think it's gonna be Lukey Sauls, the man who taught us how to jeeb.
Yeah.
I mean the wisdom in this fucking dude. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna blow your mind. You're gonna love this shit. Thank you so much for fucking tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you.
Episode 15. Love
15. Y'all. Fucking night.
Yeah, 90.